Hi, I'm Nat Wolff.
Hey, I'm Alex Wolff.
And we're here to introduce you to
the Josiah Herring Patreon.
Yeah, because he's a big pain in the patootie.
Not having the wonderful perks, such as shoutouts, custom art, and early access to videos and behind the scenes.
Well, you're really making them want to
Donate to the Josiah Herring Patreon.
Yeah.
Don't you want them to
Go to patreon.com/Josiah Herring.
You've got to
Yeah.
compliment
The sweet Patreon perks.
We gotta
put it
exaggerate. We have to exaggerate?
Yeah,
Oh, we're not gonna exaggerate?
Yeah.
Because that's lying. And lying is bad. Lying's bad. Lying's a bad person.
No, it's
Lying's
not a bad person.
Lying is bad.
We're just making them want to come see it.
Look, I get it. Maybe a half-hour-long video talking about a completely different topic than what you subscribed for was a little too much right off the bat. But you know what? I'll cut you guys a deal. If I can keep the subject of the video at least similar to what you guys subscribe for, and I can keep the length of the video down to like 8, maybe 9 minutes at most, can you guys please promise to stay and watch the entirety of the video? YouTube rewards its creators based on how much of the percentage of the video was watched, so the longer you guys stick around, the better things look on my end. And you know, not to beg, but maybe... And with that introduction out of the way, the Naked Brothers Band. Before Big Time Rush, Nickelodeon had another money-printing music project that they would just end up abandoning in favor of the next. Led by brothers Nat and Alex Wolff, with bandmates mostly consisting of their childhood friends, the Naked Brothers Band premiered in 2007, and would go on to have a successful 3-season run before getting cancelled in 2009. Hold on a second. Oh, would you look at that. But I don't want to talk about the show today. No, today I want to focus on the true origins of the series. How it was the perfect lightning-in-a-bottle situation that no one could have ever predicted. How it really had to earn its way to the silver screen. Because it wasn't like Big Time Rush or the Jonas Brothers, where the plan was to always have the show premiere on a major network. No, the Naked Brothers Band had to prove themselves. And the way they did that was with the movie. Would you believe me if I told you that this wasn't even meant to be a kids' movie? Sure, they kept it PG because the lead actors were kids. But this is also a movie that deals with harsh topics like addiction, discrimination, and even depression. But it's made by Nickelodeon, right? Well, surprisingly, no. The film wasn't made for or by any money-hungry bigwigs. In reality, it was made by two loving parents who wanted to make their two kids' dreams come true. Written, directed, and produced by their mother, Polly Draper, with help from their father, Michael Wolff, who, while having their own connections in Hollywood, had already fallen out of the spotlight by the time the movie was made. The film was initially made for the Hamptons Film Festival, where it would not only go on to win the Audience Choice Award, but also catch the attention of an individual that would change everything. But more on that later. The movie itself takes on the style of a fictionalized documentary, also known as a mockumentary. The general concept is similar to films such as Justin Bieber's Never Say Never, or that one TV special that followed Big Time Rush and A Day of Their Life on tour. The main difference here, though, is that this film only uses that format as a vehicle for the story that they're wanting to tell. This film can just essentially boil down to being a fantasy fulfillment that Michael Wolff and Polly Draper decided to make for their children and their friends. And that really shines through with just how much fun everyone seems to be having on set at all times, as well as adding a level of charm that can't be fabricated. It also lends itself to the benefit of being able to use old home videos, reinforcing the fact that these kids are all real friends, and when they fight, it hurts to watch.
I just wanted to say that I'm glad to be here having my first gig with my band. Tom is back! Twello! Joshua K! David Levy!
You're genuinely able to believe that these characters are friends that had a falling out. You see their history. You see how they genuinely care for each other, and their fight actually feels like one that friends would have when they're 9. Source, I was a 9-year-old. The only kids who didn't have a previous relationship with the band are Cole Hawkins and Allie. playing the roles of Cole and Rosalina respectively. But even then, the roles they play in the film benefit from this. Cole is a childhood friend that Nat just drifted away from over time, and they actually interact like they're friends who haven't seen each other in a long time. And seeing as Nat has a crush on Rosalina in the film, it's probably better that Nat and Allie weren't super close beforehand, as he probably wouldn't be as nervous if she was someone that he talked to on a regular basis. That all being said, they are still child actors, and there certainly are scenes where they are far from perfect. But it is easily forgivable when the rest of the film uses their age to their advantage. If you had taken essentially the same script and just made the band the typical age range for a Nickelodeon pilot,
such as Big Time Rush,
a lot of the nuance and irony of the story would have become lost. As is, this is a movie where a literal 6-year-old has to go to rehab for a lemon lime soda addiction. This is a movie where a literal 9-year-old goes through an identity crisis. And while emotional turmoil is typical for this type of movie, there's just, something about seeing a 9-year-old being put through the ringer. The movie does something incredibly risky, and it pays off. Rather than just make a stupid parody movie where everything is making fun of the genre, it embraces the genre wholeheartedly, and focuses the joke on the fact that all these adult things, these adult feelings, are happening to literal children. Instead of taking potshots at the band and the quality of their music, it instead decides to make the humor focus on the ridiculous idea that a child is going to rehab. Whose idea? Deep down, I think that the core of this movie, the reason it's so great, is its ability to tap into this childhood nostalgia and innocence that we felt when we were that age. It tackles these adult issues in such a way that it lets us bridge the gap between childhood and adulthood, letting us, even just for a second, return to a mindset where I can just reminisce about being a child and having that dream about being a rock star one day. This movie is, in its purest form, wish fulfillment. And I kind of love it for that. October 23rd, 2005. The day of the Hamptons Film Festival. This film gets shown and is absolutely adored by the audience, even going as far as to win the Audience Choice Award for Best Family Feature Film. Nat and Alex got to live their dream. Polly Draper and Michael Wolff got the reaction that they were looking for, and, well, that should have been the happy ending to the story. But life is full of the unexpected. In the audience of that showing, not even looking for the next big thing, not even working for Nickelodeon anymore at that point, was Albie Hecht. And upon seeing the film, Albie immediately approached the Wolff family and purchased the Naked Brothers Band brand with the intention of pitching the film as a pilot to Nickelodeon. And the rest is history. And I think that speaks to the true quality of this film. You see, it's common for big companies like Nickelodeon or Disney to manufacture musicians because they know it's going to be a runaway success. You see it all the time with Hannah Montana, Austin and Allie, Victorious, and yes, even Big Time Rush. But this was different. This is a situation where instead of a company choosing an industry plant that they could mold into whatever they needed, Nat, Alex, Allie, David, and Thomas just so happened to be at the right place at the right time, and were able to have their talents on full display. It's sadly something you don't really get to see often enough anymore, and I think that makes this film secretly genius. Once again, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my generous supporters on Patreon, especially my top supporter, Sherbet. If you would like a piece of custom art like this, then head on over to patreon.com/Josiah Herring and see which tier would suit you the best. And that's it. That's the end of the video. You guys kept your promise. You watched the entire thing. Thank you. as a way to say thank you, here you go. Here's a little sneak peek of what's coming next.